The movie starts with Haji Kare singing in a studio, and the recording engineer informs her that her session is over, expressing concern about not wanting to be caught by his superior. Haji Kare quickly hides upon seeing someone enter the studio. Hugo, the owner of the music studio. He arrives with a woman, dismisses his employee, then flirts with her, and gets caught in a compromising situation by two other women, prompting him to hide. Only to be surprised when he finds Haji Kare and questions how she managed to enter the studio. Fueled by anger, they unleash chaos, wreaking havoc on the studio equipments. Haji Kare was distressed about the destruction of her demo, while Hugo was worried about his equipment being damaged. He got a call from his brothers reminding him of their arrangements. He told them he was on this way. Haji Kare trailed him outside to inquire about rescheduling her demo recording, but he told her to leave him alone. During a women's gathering, Hugo's mother, Mrs. Agata, faced mockery for not having grandchildren despite having 3 adult sons. In response, she told them that her second son, Obi, was currently proposing to his girlfriend. Obi enlisted the assistance of his brothers and friends to orchestrate a grand proposal for his girlfriend. Obi went on to publicly propose to Vera, only to be left embarrassed as she walked away. Coincidentally, at that very moment, Mrs. Agata was shown an online video that was trending capturing her son's proposal rejection, causing her to faint. Mrs. Agata's 3 sons rushed to the hospital upon receiving the news that she had passed out. When they arrived, she inquired about their plans to bring their fiancés home and expressed her desire for them to get married. She confided that her concern for their unmarried status was contributing to her high blood pressure. In an effort to ease her worries and make her feel better, the sons decided to fabricate a story, pretending that they had each found a lady they intended to marry. Furthermore, they promised to bring these prospective fiancés home by Christmas. Hugo, Mrs. Agartar's eldest son, is a music producer recognized for his reputation of being involved with various women romantically. Obi, the second son of Mrs. Agartar, recently experienced a setback as his girlfriend turned down his marriage proposal. Chike, the youngest son of Mrs. Agatar, works as a gym instructor and tends to keep his romantic life very private. After bringing their mom home, she dropped a surprising announcement during lunch. She declared that the one who gets married first would inherit the house. Hugo, as the eldest son, felt indignant, questioning why his mom was making such a statement, since the house was his right as the first son. In response, Obi confidently asserted that he would be the first to marry and would take the house. Hugo, in a taunting manner, ridiculed his brother, referencing the recent rejection his girlfriend had given him during the proposal. Hugo's partner Cassie expressed anger over the damaged equipment, declaring that she was no longer interested in maintaining their partnership. While discussing the issue, they became aware of an unexpected presence in the room. Sensing trouble, Hugo asked his partner to leave, as the person present was Torpedo, a feared street thug and moneylender. Hugo owed money. Torpedo is known for his brutality and erratic behavior. To settle the debt, Hugo promised to sell his mom's expensive estate and use the proceeds to pay Torpedo, claiming his mom would give him the house once he's married. Torpedo told Hugo that he is expecting his money. Then he took Hugo's watch and left his studio. Unfortunately for Obi, he works in the same advertising company as his girlfriend, and his colleagues has seen his proposal video trending online. At the office, Obi tried to talk to his girlfriend, but she, as his boss, rejected him, stating that marriage wasn't on the table and told him to focus on work. She urged him to contribute and suggest a creative ad idea to please her. Mrs. Agatar, the church committee leader, discovered decisions about the annual Christmas party were made without her input. To maintain control, she suggested hosting the annual Christmas party in the ghetto, choosing Mushin community. Kanig, Obi's friend, arrived at the office for a project collaboration. Obi, seeming distracted, declined the food she brought, stating he wasn't hungry, and shifted the conversation to seeking advice on how to make his girlfriend Vera accept his proposal. Kanig suggested making Vera jealous, all while hiding her own secret feelings for Obi. Hugo's business partner Cassie proposed that he seek financial assistance from his mom and brother, but Hugo declined, insisting that all he needed was to find someone to marry. Hugo hatched a plan to introduce Cassie to his mom as his prospective wife. Hugo took Cassie to his mom as his fiancée, Hugo's mother asked Cassie some questions and realized she wasn't actually Hugo's girlfriend. Cassie left angrily. Mrs. Agerta, feeling betrayed, started crying as Hugo's attempt to deceive her became evident. Mrs. Agata dragged her boys to church, and during the service, Hugo was captivated by Ajikare's singing. When the pastor called for a volunteer to play the drum, Hugo eagerly stood up, expressing his ability to do it as a way to get a chance to meet Ajikare, who was part of the choir. Mrs. Agata introduced Hugo to Ajikare, facilitating a connection. Hugo expressed surprise, admitting he didn't know she could sing. Ajikare mentioned he wouldn't have known her talent since he drove her from his studio. Intrigued, Hugo invited her to his studio, promising to create a new demo for her. At the advertising company, a client was leaving angrily after criticizing Vera for presenting what he considered a bad idea for his ad. Vera turned to Obi for assistance. Obi questioned Vera about her feelings, asking if she genuinely liked him or if she was merely using him. Even though Vera said she wasn't using him, the reality was that she was taking advantage of his smart ideas for her own gain. Hugo informed Obi that he had found a lady to marry, and their mom had given her approval, telling Obi that he is going to get the house and Obi should take his mind off his house. Hugo brought Ajikare to his studio, but she was familiar with Hugo's tactics in charming women, having observed him on the day his equipment was destroyed. She told him she came for a demo and wasn't interested in playing his games, then promptly left. Torpedo, the moneylender Hugo owed, and his thug were at his home when he arrived, aiming to intimidate him into repaying the debt. In an effort to enforce payment, Torpedo took Hugo's TV and left his house. The church community conducted an interview with Hugo, and Ajikare assisted him during the process. Hugo then requested to accompany Ajikare to Mushin, a well-known ghetto where she resides. Meanwhile, Chike was preparing to drive his mom to Mushin. But he received a call from his mom's doctor instructing him to bring her to the hospital for a quick checkup. Chike then had to go and tell his mom's committee members in the ghetto to explain that she was running late and would join them later. Hugo followed Ajikare to her house in the ghetto, and unfortunately someone stole one of the lady's bags, belonging to Mrs. Bliss. Chike immediately ran after the perpetrator, and his brother, Obi, along with Ajikare, joined in the pursuit when they saw him. The bag was successfully recovered with the assistance of Ajikare's uncle. Meanwhile, Hugo sent a picture of Ajikare in the ghetto to his brother, Obi. Upon seeing the picture, Obi was inspired to use cable wires to create a Christmas tree in the ghetto, and their clients approved of the idea. Koenig volunteered to accompany Obi to the ghetto to plan for the event. Meanwhile, Chike and the women were explaining to the community members the type of event they wanted to organize. Ajikare visited Hugo's studio to record a Christmas song. Simultaneously, Obi was getting ready for a date with his girlfriend Vera, while Chike is in a relationship with a married woman, Mrs. Bliss, which explains why he keeps his relationship secret. Hugo invited Ajikare for a hangout, and she mentioned an all-nighter event, to which he expressed interest in attending cause he assumed it was a party. Meanwhile, Obi called his girlfriend Vera when she didn't show up for their date, but her phone was disconnected. Vera arrived at Obi's house later in the morning, lying that she forgot about the date and expressing hope that he was ready to go to Mushin. She told him to go take a bath, and while he was in the bathroom, Koenig arrived, expressing her desire for Obi to give her a lift to Mushin. It became apparent that Vera and Kangen didn't like each other. Obi's car experienced mechanical issues, and Vera began complaining, considering calling an Uber. However, Kangen stepped in to assist Obi in getting the car working again. Upon arriving in Mushin, they encountered his mom's church commit team members and expressed the intention of their client to sponsor the event. Hugo attended the all-nighter event that Ajikare had mentioned, only to discover that it was actually a church gathering. The next day, during practice, Hugo began to act out. When Ajikare asked him to behave, he told her that he was angry because she deceived him. Upon returning to his studio, Hugo discovered Torpedo, the thug he owed money, attempting to take some of his belongings. In an effort to intervene, he ended up being punched. Ajikare, on her way to Hugo's studio to apologize, noticed Torpedo and his associate taking Hugo's possessions in their car. When she entered the studio, she found Hugo on the ground, and the studio was in disarray. Ajikare consoled him and inquired why he didn't seek financial assistance from his mom or brothers. Hugo explained that being the firstborn, he felt it wouldn't be right. Ajikare advised him that it wasn't the time to be proud, but Hugo changed the topic and asked her to give him a chance. During Obi's company party, Vera publicly proposed to Obi in front of everyone, and he agreed to marry her. Koenig was upset and left the party. Obi followed Koenig outside when he saw her leaving, and she expressed that she was happy for him. However, she mentioned that her ex wanted her back, and she hadn't given him a reply yet because she wanted to discuss it with Obi first. She was on the verge of tears when Obi, realizing he loved her, decided to kiss her. However, the moment was cut short by the arrival of her Uber. Feeling overwhelmed, she ran off. Obi was confiding in his younger brother Chike, revealing that he kissed Koenig despite being engaged to Vera, and he was now confused about which choice to make. While Chike was attempting to talk to him, they heard a knock. And it turned out to be Vera who entered the room. Chike excused himself, leaving them alone. Obi told Vera that he had something important to share, expressing that he couldn't marry her anymore because he wanted Koenig. He apologized for misleading her. In response, she slapped him and left. Chike came out to talk to his brother, suggesting that he could now go for the one he truly desires, considering it a positive development. As he realized what he was saying, Chike decided to take his own advice, leaving Obi's house. Obi ran after him, confused at his brother's behavior. Obi returned inside his house only to find Torpedo, the thug that Hugo owed a large sum of money. Coincidentally, Torpedo was the same guy dating Koenig, and he came to warn Obi to stay away from her. Chike went to Mrs. Bliss's house to express his love, but when he arrived, her husband opened the door, and Mrs. Bliss rushed out to prevent her husband from realizing Chike was her lover. Confused because Mrs. Bliss said her husband left her. However, she explained that he had returned, and being older than Chike, and still married, Mrs. Bliss felt obliged to reconcile with her husband. She informed Chike their relationship is over, leaving him devastated. Aji Kher went to meet Hugo at a club, looking good. However, she got drunk and embarrassed herself. Hugo had to bring her to his house when she passed out, only to find that Torpedo had taken some of his belongings. Hugo expressed to Aji Kher that he wanted a serious relationship, and she responded by saying if he is serious, he has to inform the church committee. When he did, the committee conveyed their #1 rule, which was no sexual relations before marriage. Obi informed Koenig that he had ended things with Vera and expressed his desire for a chance with her. However, she responded by saying she didn't think he knew what he wanted and left. Obi went after her, but Torpedo's associate spotted him and brought him to Torpedo. As Obi entered Torpedo's club, he saw Aji Kher coming out. Torpedo emphasized that he had warned Obi to stay away from Koenig. Obi replied that he loved Koenig and wasn't going to stay away from her. Torpedo then demanded compensation for the emotional damage Obi was causing him, which he said is an amount twice what Hugo, Obi's brother, owed him. Obi was shocked to learn that Torpedo knew his brother, and that Hugo owed him money. Obi told Chike about Hugo's debt, and they confronted him at his house. When they asked him why he didn't seek their help, Hugo claimed he had it under control, saying once he married Aji Kher, everything would be fine. They expressed to him that they wouldn't allow him to sell their family house. Obi then mentioned that he had something to share about Aji Kher. On the day of the Christmas party in Mushin, the ghetto, Hugo and his brothers dressed up as Santa. The party was going great until Hugo confronted Aji Kher, accusing her of pretending to be a Christian when she was seen with Torpedo at his club. In response, she said she went to plead with Torpedo to give Hugo time to come up with the money, only for Torpedo to tell her that Hugo only wanted to marry her to inherit his mother's house. Hugo went to confront his brother, Obi, accusing him of sabotaging his relationship, and both of them started fighting. Chike was trying to separate them, until someone poured a bowl of water on them. Hugo sent a message to Aji Kher to apologize for what he said and did. He was in his studio when Torpedo came to return his stuff, indicating that he had been paid. Obi then invited Koenig to his house and expressed his love for her, stating that he would like to marry her. She said yes to his proposal. At Mrs. Agatar's Christmas party, Hugo came to wish his mom a great party, and she urged him to make peace with his brothers. They reconciled, and Hugo expressed gratitude to his brother Obi for paying off his loan. Koenig also attended the party and was introduced as Obi's fiancée. Mrs. Agatar told Obi that she liked Koenig. Hugo suggested that Obi take the house, but Obi insisted that the house belonged to all of them. Obi told Hugo that he had brought him a present. When he turned to see the present, it was Aji Kher. She said that Obi had begged her to come. Hugo pleaded for forgiveness, expressed his love, and proposed sincerely, emphasizing it wasn't for financial reasons. She accepted. The story emphasizes honesty, communication, and genuine choices in relationships, exposing the consequences of deception and the role of family dynamics in personal decisions. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to receive notification when a new video is posted.